Welcome back to Dewan Pundit Indonesia, the English version, and we're now going to talk about the highlight of the season, the Champions League final, which is going to be played in Munich, and it will be a massive match where Paris Saint-Germain will face Internazionale Milan, and this is a guaranteed blockbuster where PSG coming into this match on great form. I think Aston Villa tested them, but then they got through. And when you look at the style of play, and you look at how elegant and how exquisite the system of Luis Enrique, it's not a coincidence that they are favorites to lift the trophy against Internazionale. But when you talk about Inter Milan and Simone Inzaghi and the approach of maybe trying to play a bit more defensive and then hurt the opponent with the counter, this is going to be a highly wild contested final between maybe two different systems, Luis Enrique versus Simone Inzaghi, Kiko.
I mean, I think Inter have the upper hand in terms of mentality, and I think the pressure is actually on them, given that they most recently lost in the final against Man City.
And this is, I think, a surprise coming from you, that maybe you're angling towards Inter to be the favorites coming towards the final, because I think almost every pundit is on the PSG side, and this is something maybe that you have in mind, that Inter can hurt PSG.
No, I mean, Look, I think it's just on top of the paper, and just speaking historically, I think Inter has the upper hand, but I ultimately want PSG to win just because how they changed philosophy in the season, and the attacking football, the entertaining attacking football that Luis Enrique and PSG are trying to play. But I just think that Inter are more pragmatic in terms of them trying to adapt to the opponents. We saw that against Barcelona, who scored the goal was Acerbi. They can counter whenever they like, not whenever they like, but they can counter, they can defend with whoever they want, send up top somebody they want. Like I didn't want to watch the whole match just because it was so late, but I couldn't sleep, so I watched that match against Barcelona. Nobody could stop Lamine Yamal. Again, we're talking about Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
Nobody could stop Lamine Yamal but one person, and that was Mehdi Taremi.
Yeah.
Tried to go left again, but Mehdi Taremi stopped it. As you can see, Bastoni was praising, even though they won, Bastoni still praised Lamine Yamal. But that's the thing. They're so adaptive to how the opponent can play. If they like to play cut inside from the left, cut inside from the right, cut inside from the left, Rafinha scores, okay, we're just going to adapt to it. So I think that adaptability is key to, PSG's current attacking situation. Now, you may say, I remember Adi saying Inter to become favorites as champions. This was before the quarterfinals, I think. I still think that's the case. I still think the pressure is on them to win it. They just lost in the Serie A and the Coppa Italia as well, which if they're trophyless, I think there's a lot of criticism on Simone Inzaghi, which is unfair, to be honest, because they really had a good season, denied by two ex-Man United players. I want PSG to win more than Inter.
Well, actually, Inter's title was denied by a Bournemouth player on loan, Phil Billing, with that goal against Inter. That was
sensational. Which game was that?
That was the turning point of the title.
Sure.
Yeah, and plus McTominay and Lukaku.
But ex-Premier League players, and still current, impacting Inter. Anyways, no, I'm still on to PSG winning the Champions League just because I'm more in favor of general attacking football. They're playing fluid, amazing football, which they themselves can adapt to. Again, coming back to that Liverpool game where it's sort of a very dominating first half for PSG, but then turned it around and then took the extra time and then mentality and the penalty. So, look, whoever wins, whoever scores the goal first and whatever happens in the final, it doesn't surprise me because this is really equal between two competing teams, like two of the best European teams this season. So, yeah, in my opinion, it's up for grabs.
So you're more
PSG.
So yeah, same.
More
here.
Inter.
No. I said more Inter on paper, but I'm more in favor.
Oh, your heart is saying
for
PSG.
Yes.
Yeah. So do I, absolutely. I think one of these teams should be stay away from the hurdle of the finals. Yes, especially PSG with the expectation, with the lot of investment, with the burden of never won the Champions League. I think the burden is more towards to them. And then, especially for recent years, PSG always live on the shadow of the club. And I think this year with the shifting in the ideology, with the style of play, this season with Luis Enrique, they are more towards not the players, not the numbers, not the stars, but more chasing into the style, into the discipline, into the style of playing that Luis Enrique won, and somehow the adaptability is a really adding a very good point for PSG. And also Inter. Come on, Inter is, yes, maybe they slip the Serie A, it's okay, but Simone Inzaghi is the tournament coach. Also the adaptability from his team will be extra point in this final. So I believe I little towards to PSG, but Inter will do everything to secure the title, because if you slip into this Copa or Serie A, this final should be divine your season. Should be divine your season, and I believe it's any given Sunday for Inter to win the cup.
And for PSG, it's the chance to complete the clean sweep of dominating domestically, and then in terms of the Champions League, this is going to be their first ever if they do get across the line. In the past 5 years, both teams are in the final, but they can't win it. And the last time Inter was victorious is with a coach that's almost a similar coach to Simone Inzaghi, not an attacking coach, but knows how to make it difficult for teams to play against that back line. It's not the youngest, but the experience in that back line. And then you combine it with maybe Bissac playing there with Acerbi and Bastoni. The balance is outstanding. And then when you go to the flanks, and this is the key, where you have the likes of Marco flying and Dumfries, and then the cover in midfield, it just makes it more simple for Dumfries to impact that final third. If you have players like Mkhitaryan, who is a revelation playing in that defensive midfielder position with Barella. And so I think if you look at that midfield, and if you look at the match against Aston Villa, that second leg where you could say that Paris Saint-Germain struggle with the press and the movement without the ball that Inter can give PSG. This is going to be a bit problematic in that battle where Vitinha and Ruiz might not be as comfortable as maybe playing against a team other than Inter.
No, I think especially with the final as well, to be honest, I think Inter is the best team out of the teams that made it to the knockout phase. When was the last time a final had big scores? I think they'll slow the game down for PSG. I think exactly what you meant with Dumfries getting up or DeMarco getting up, because they're so disciplined to getting back as well. And I think they'll have a hard time with the midfield. Revolutionary Mkhitaryan, as you said, and Çalhanoğlu as well, and Barella, I think are going to cause trouble in the midfield to control whatever Luis Enrique is planning. Luis Enrique is planning.
See?
You got it in my head.
Be careful.
You got it in my head. Whatever Luis Enrique's... Whoa!
Ah, come on! Aldi!
Twice, it's not,
Stop it!
It's not an accident.
Luis Enrique. It's cold. That's why I'm a bit freezing. So, Luis Enrique's plan. So, I think Inter is probably the worst team that PSG wants in the final. A game where 1-0 is enough to get you that trophy.
More than enough.
More than enough to win that trophy. So whoever gets that one goal first is it's gonna feel like 10 goals ahead. But yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree with that.
After January, Aldi, the transformation of PSG, and the belief in the ownership towards Enrique, because in the past they have this record of sacking the coach because things are not going well, coming towards the January-February part of the season, and you can see that transformation and the seriousness of trying to get a player that can upgrade the team.
And then as well. Sorry. No, it's a good shout to say Kvicha as well.
Yeah, and this is
team, sorry.
We're going to go into Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, and we're going to go into a player that simply changes everything. And then that slight tweak to move Dembele a bit more central and forward. That's just the change that Enrique knows that Kavicha can play that role in that flank, and then Dembele can adapt. And it turns out to be a great situation for PSG, and a stark change in their path towards the final of the Champions League. This is a team that needs that last
Dangerous.
couple of matches to go even thinking about playing in the knockout stages.
Yeah, with the playoff in the group stage or whatever it names. PSG start the Champions League not that well, we have to say. Not very ensuring, but throughout the season, throughout the tournament, they become getting better and better, especially in the knockout. When facing Aston Villa, everybody being doubt about the seriousness of the PSG, how they become so easy to press by Aston Villa's midfield. You highly rated like Tielemans, McGinn, how they drive the midfield against the PSG, but against Arsenal's, and then come on. Yeah, they're playing well against Arsenal, I have to say. Neves, Ruiz, and Vitinha, this trio can do everything, and especially in the final third, Kvaratskhelia and the Dembele play as a subs against Arsenal. This team really packed with the good talent, some of really special talent, and managed by really special coach. So I think I agree with Luis Enrico here. These two teams really, at the moment, with the very best team in Europe, and they those team facing each other in the final. Nobody doubted, and the way PSG play now is not chasing the names, the glorified players. Even yes, we have to say Kvaratskhelia is not a very rich player. He's a very good talent, and he knows. Enrique knows how to play him. Yes, he can play very wide, but also he can play between the line in the final third. So special talents, and how the way Dembele play more effectively, because for 90 minutes, Dembele not the players that can play that good for 90 minutes, but Enrique know when and how to play Dembele, the special talents, and also for whoever play in the central forward is really make a really good and really hard times for the defender. So yeah, we can talk more about the way PSG play, but I think Luis Enrique on helmet, I think he knows how to create this situation. Yes, like you said before, the key area will be flank, but the major pain area is going to be central defender, both team. Yes, Acerbi is great. Yes, Bastoni is great. Yeah, but somehow it's going to be the less, or the area that can PSG players penetrate on that.
Making mistakes in that back line, and we see Marquinhos tend to do errors with his experience. And then William Pacho is a good player. Physicality is okay, but he lacks that experience.
Yes.
So in big matches like this, and then when you look at both goalkeepers having great semifinals, Sommer and then Gigi Donnarumma. So when you look at the final and that massive pressure on players, but you have two great goalkeepers that can affect the match as well. So this is going to be an interesting situation, and it will come to a slight detail, maybe a little mistake in the match in trying to figure out who's going to win the title.
No, it's a game of margins, really. Like, you can't even have Kvaratskhelia in the final third not facing the goal and still be threatening, because he can just... I've seen a lot of his games where he's not facing the goal, the ball is on his feet, but then he just turns around and shoots, and then it scores, or at least it's on target. Those kind of plays are dangerous and so marginal. As Acerbi and as Bastoni, who's faced him before, they should know better to guard specifically Kvaratskhelia. But again, Kvaratskhelia is not just PSG is not just Kvaratskhelia. There's a lot of other threats from the flanks as well, as we said. But yeah, we'll see because the goalies, I agree with you. They've been so sensational, especially this knockout phase. If it wasn't for Jan Sommer, they wouldn't progress this far. Barcelona would have scored way more goals than they should.
Talking about 6, 7.
Yeah, exactly. So many saves, even with Donnarumma as well against Liverpool. But yeah, I think it's a game of margins. But
not against Arsenal.
Against Arsenal.
Yeah, okay. No, props to Arsenal though. A good match against Real Madrid. But then, yeah. Anyways,
they've won it against Real. They've
exactly.
become champions of Europe.
Maybe that was the expectation. We're done after that. You know what I'm saying? No, but good match, and Declan Rice, Bennett like Deck. But anyways, yeah, I think again, these two very deserve to be here.
Fully deserve.
Whatever the defense is, whatever the flank is, where the paint is, it's going to be very crucial, really.
And we're looking forward to a great final.
Yep.
PSG, of course, they want to win this final against Inter, and Inter, with their approach, is going to be a tough opponent. Predictions from both. Is it going to go to penalties, or what do you have in mind, Aldi?
I want Inter to win.
I thought you said PSG.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
is a classic, just
like you said before, on paper,
heart
and brain,
like
heart
okay.
and mind.
I didn't say I want Inter.
No, okay. So I want to Inter to win because the way they play, especially in Serie A, the team that should be, I have to say, boring game, but they choose to play more attractive. I mean, yes, somehow. They play very, very laid back and killing with the counter. But the key is the early goal. If Inter secure to score an early goal, they more than happy to sit back and try to traumatize through the counter. And if PSG score first early goal, they're more too happy to more control. More passing in midfield because they have a players. They so patient in midfield, especially, and the defender also during the flank. Yeah, I think the key is the early goal, but I'm leaning a little bit towards to Inter Milano.
For Kiko, it's clear. He wants PSG to win.
I do, but I just
with the brand of
but this is prediction. This is prediction.
Yeah.
So I think it's make it a bit entertaining with 3 goals. So 2-1 for Inter. Yeah, let's not go to extra time because I don't want to wake up until 6 a.m. in the morning. But anyways, 2-1 for Inter, I think.
Okay, Jibrat team, if you have a prediction for the final, you can, of course, write it to us on your little, what do you say, cell phones or iPad, and then you can let us know your predictions for the final of the Champions League, PSG against Inter Milan. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss our reaction episode right after the final whistle.